Hello good people, once again another comic haul video, this one in a more timely fashion as this is a comic convention that I was just at earlier today, so getting to be more professional here I guess, right? Maybe not. Anyway, so as I tend to do, I usually make the rounds, kind of do a swoop around, try to be strategic, plan the mode of attack. So I start at the bargain bins, work my way up, just kind of see what everybody has and try to tackle the vendors that I think have kind of, everybody's cool, but I try to get the ones that have good value first. So this is all stuff from a dollar bin to start out. Probably gonna have the more expensive stuff towards the end. So yeah, this is Daredevil and Punisher, reprintings from Frank Miller, cover by Jeff Darrow, I believe, early on. Am I mistaken in that? I think that's what I've heard before. Cool to get in a dollar bin. Punisher POV, number 1 of 4. I was always curious about this because Starlin and Wrightson doing Punisher. I was just talking about James Bond comics being kind of cool, so this is good to see in a 007, or a dollar bin. It's 007. And I was also talking about Mike Grell, how I like his stuff, so checking this out. 007 by Mike Grell. Issue of Cheval Noir, number 36. On Big Elbow's kind of recommendation, checking out some Aircell. I see these around a lot in Maelstrom. That's Maelstrom number 6. A really beat up issue of Goth by Glenn Danzig and Liam Sharpe. There's a pretty funny write-up in here by Danzig at the back. A little bit of a rant. Do you want to see it? Let's see. Let's read one paragraph. To all our jealous and envious detractors, fuck you. Jealousy breeds contempt in that you show us in all your feeble attempts to censor our vision and stifle our voices. As your books die, ours thrive. That you have never made us welcome in this industry is quite evident and comes as no great surprise. We have nothing in common with your antiquated and repressive morality, much less your silly heroes in shiny underwear and capes. That we scare you is reassuring. Change is scary, but only reaffirms our zealous commitment to the best in mature and adult comics reading. Good old Danzig. So there was some dollar bin Lone Wolf and Cub, which I'll always say yes to. I think I was missing 2 out of 3 of these, but got the other one too. Lone Wolf and Cub number 26. Number 27, a great comic series, absolutely great. And as I've said before, often they're one-issue stories anyway, so I do like it in this format and bigger. Number 23, an issue of Kamui. This is Kamui number 3. I always stayed away from this, but having read 1 or 2, it actually does read kind of like Lone Wolf and Cub, the ones that I've read. Puma Blues number 1, not bad to find in a dollar bin. In decent enough shape considering how long it's been around. Let's look at the art in here a little bit. You gotta love it. It's too hard to do this with one hand, and trying to adjust the focus too. Anyway, on your bingo card for this video, hearing me complain about the focus, that's a free space. Punisher invades the Nam. This is Punisher number 52. Got it because the Jorge Zaffino cover. Sadly though, it's not the Zaffino on the interior, but I'll check it out anyway. Night Witch number 3. Got this on the strength of the cover just because it looked like some weird kind of indie stuff, right? The art inside doesn't look bad either. Pretty weird indie stuff, I guess. We'll see how good it is. Grimjack number 2. Recently got Grimjack number 1 in a value bin, so it's cool to get this to be able to read number 2. Damlog #1. I don't know if this is the first printing of Damlog, because there is another version of this with a red cover. But, one of the greatest comics ever. Nothing like it. It's really... Your talent for survival is beginning to irritate me, human. I've come to put that irritation to a rest. Some Pulitzer dialogue. And the anatomy. It's like this throughout. Good old Damlog. Lastly, I just made it an even score with this issue of Shadow reprints, Crime Classics #7. Next vendor, another dollar bin to start off. Free Comic Book Day Conan, written by Timothy Truman. I've actually seen that the apparent, like, I think eBay and even guide value for this is, or maybe even on Amazon as well, was like $15 some years back. So I don't really know how that works, but Free Comic Book Days sometimes are like that, the comics from those. Alex and Ada by Jonathan Luna and Sarah Vaughn. I usually enjoy this stuff by any of the Luna brothers enough to check it out. Sisterhood of Steel #2. Just getting those extra sets of those. RASL by Jeff Smith #1. Not familiar with this, but I'll check it out. The Joe Kubert School presents First Folio. This is an anthology series, I think, of people who graduate from the Joe Kubert School, if I'm not mistaken. Marvel Comics presents Wolverine. Some Sam Keith Wolverine in this. Completing this series, a bit at a time. Not quite there yet. Elektra Assassin #6. And #8. He had this, and then I usually don't pay too much for stuff, but I was like, yeah, I want it. I'm just going to stifle myself on dollar stuff. I'm gonna, like, not buy anything that looks even halfway like crap from dollar bins. And then considering that, say, like, for every 10 cruddy dollar bin things, it'll justify having Stray Bullets #1, which is an item that I think I actually will love, you know? Get that Marie Kondo going on. Arthur Suydam's Demon Dreams. Arthur Suydam, a pretty good artist and stuff, so checking that out. Twisted Tales of Bruce Jones, part 4 of 4. So Bruce Jones, of course, I think these are a lot of collections that were from Creepy and Eerie magazines, but reprinted in color. It's cool to see that he's not just a good writer, but he's actually a good artist, too. I've seen that before, but for anybody new watching at home. Where's the payoff? Where are the money shots? There are some in here. Maybe it's good that I don't show that stuff in every video. Okay, let's keep going. Rock and Roll Comics, The Who. I just get these Rock and Roll comics whenever they're a decent price and showcasing a band that I actually like. They had one on The Cure there, though, that was like, I think he wanted like $30 for it, though, at a different table. And it would have been cool to get, but... anyways, so if this comic is good, maybe I'll keep it, but I have friends that would like this also, if it's not really, like, for me specifically to enjoy. Basil Wolverton's Planet of Terror. Dark Horse print. Have some Basil Wolverton stuff. This is kind of how I do it. I don't really speculate, but I take chances on, like, stuff I think I have a good chance of liking. And yeah, just trade or sell whatever it turns out I don't really care to have personally, so we'll see. I'm not really familiar with too much Basil Wolverton, actually. Nice style, though. And How to Draw, Eastman and Laird's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is from 1985 or 6. Kind of cool. You actually have Eastman and Laird contributing to this too. Hit up another dollar bin, and there was G.I. Joe European missions. There were a bunch of these, but I thought I would just try one out. Why not for $1? That has like a nice femme fatale on the cover. See what it's like. Never really heard of the series before. Filling some holes in my Punisher collection. I'm not missing too many, but number 7 and number 39. Punisher War Journal, number 29. Pretty much just going for all the Mike Baron War Journal. Some extra copies of Punisher Armory. Because, I don't know, these might be fun to give away or try to sell at like weird little pop-up conventions with hipster people and stuff. Or like kind of counterculture, punks, metalheads, art people. You know, we'll see how these fly. It's funny, somebody was exclaiming to me today that like you can't even give Punisher away, but it would be fun to see in a different crowd. So Punisher Armory number 3, 4, 5. More from Dollar Bin, Uncanny X-Force, a series I've been enjoying. So, yeah, getting pretty close to like having a large chunk of these at like cheap L prices. Number 26, Frick Remounder. Number 27, and number 28. Number 29. Another vendor's dollar section to start. The Dragon Blood and Guts. I think I've talked about this before. Jason Pearson. Kind of fun. Number 2. Number 3. And number 1. Completing another set of Violator. Violator number 2. Number 3. A reprint of the first appearance of Swamp Thing. Because, face it, I don't know if I'm actually going to spend the money to get it myself. As a completionist, though, I do want a lot of that era of of DC Horror, House of Secrets, House of Mystery, and whatnot. So this is a legendary cover as well. Apparently, Wrightson used Louise Simonson as the model of this lady here. Amazing Spider-Man number 243, dollar bin. Looks alright. It doesn't quite look like John Romita Sr., but not bad looking. Our Fighting Forces featuring the Losers. This is number 162. It's funny, this is the only issue of Our Fighting Forces in that guy's dollar bin or any I think I saw that day. And this is the first Kirby comic I myself ever got. Maybe not this copy, but yeah, from a dollar bin as well. And then I was kind of like, yeah, I'm getting hooked. I wasn't like too interested in Kirby stuff before, but it got me on the road to seeing the appeal of it, and yeah, never went back. Free Comic Book Day, Bongo Comics Free for All 2011. I was like, yeah, $1 book for a comic book guy comic? Hell yeah. Unfortunately, it's not really a comic book guy features, so, but there are artists in here featured that are like Evan Dorkin, Sergio Aragonés, so should be alright. Don't judge me. That is to say that I'm completing Gen 13 runs and series when I can for these prizes. Gen 13 number 3, I think this is volume 1, and then to volume 2, number 2. Pretty funny Barry Windsor Smith cover here. Let's fill in hitting the enhance button. Number 3, number 4. Getting really close to having all of the Nexus issues. It's going to be a very small amount that I'm missing. Nexus number 38, number 66, number 67, number 68. Oh yeah, this guy also, like, I was like, yeah, today maybe rather than spending tons of money on bargain books, I'll actually like forego that as much and kind of, I want like quality over quantity. And well, not just that, but I'm getting so close to like having all the X-Men that I'm missing, so I'm just going for it, man. And I know too that I can get like discounts buying in bulk too. Anyway, this guy's table seemed to have like some of the lowest prices on X-Men there. It's so crazy though. One time I was at a comic show and like they were almost all 50 cents, and I didn't get them at that time, but I wish I did because those days seem to be gone forever. Anyways, Uncanny X-Men number 173, number 186. Life Death is like a little series that I think I'll like have doubles or triples of because it's pretty touching. Number 197. Again for those pop-up shows. 198, Life Death Part 2. Second copy of that. Number 222, iconic Wolverine vs. Sabretooth Mark Silvestri cover. Number 257. This is like somewhat of a key or something with Psylocke, I think. Number 259. 262. 269. Oh yeah, and he made me a deal on those, so I said, hey, would you make me a deal on that also? Number 254, Ladies' Night, where it's the first appearance of Jubilee and just like ex-ladies. I think they were in a mall, end up getting in a fight in a mall. Nice Mark Silvestri art. He has that kind of, they look like they're like fashion illustrations, the way he draws chicks, man. Or kind of like that old poster style. I've just been like looking at, every time I'm at conventions for the past few years, I'm like, damn it, man, I'm only missing like that one kind of in that section. So, bite the bullet. This is kind of an iconic, I remember there was an animated GIF of this before, these two panels. Pretty good stuff. I gotta say, it seems like a lot of it seems like there's less and less dollar bins and more $2 bins as time goes on. I don't know if it's inflation or what, but it's something to be conscious of, though. You still gotta control yourself. But Cross 3D, I'll get it anytime that it's at a decent price, because it's just something like, I feel like I could vouch for this. I could either give this to friends or sell it at any point. This is a really fun comic. Really crazy, man. Totally NC-17. Good shit. It's like a really good action movie. A horror as well. Yeah, he had a big run of Crossed, and he said he'd like sell them to me for pretty cheap if I wanted a big run of them. So I said, yeah, okay, maybe we'll do that. This is Crossed number 1 to like number 9. All the original Garth Ennis ones. Is it all of them? 1 to 9 anyway. And then Crossed Psychopath, which is a pretty wicked David Lapham series. David Lapham and Rollo Cesares. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that last name. But this is a well-written, a little series, storyline of Crossed. And the art's pretty crazy too. So this guy, he pretends to be a survivor of another, like he finds another group, and as far as they know, he's just another survivor whose group has died, so they take him in, but he's actually a demented, like, serial killer. And though he acts innocent, he plays, like, mind games to try and pit them against each other. He has all these crazy fantasies about the women that are in this group being whores, being in love with them, being pure, being not worth saving, or being the only ones worth saving, and it's pretty interesting, man. Pretty good series. Such a little shit. And yeah, even trying to play not just the group against itself, but even like with the outbreak of the Crossed, trying to capitalize on that as well. So to me, when it's like that good, they are worth having in the issues as well. Kind of the way I do it in formats is like if it's a storyline, I'll go for the trade paperbacks, and if they stand good as standalone comics, that way as well. But sometimes, if I like them enough, it'll be like independent of them being like an overall story arc also. Even though these are a big overarching storyline, a lot does happen per issue too, which I like. Speaking of which, he had like a ton of Garth Ennis Punisher there, which I considered, but that's one thing where they kind of like read good in the trade paperback series, I think, too, because it's always like 6-issue storylines and stuff. So I think there's Olive Cross Psychopath. Then we get into Cross Badlands. So this is stuff that I haven't read yet. So I don't know if it's like good necessarily. I'll like it, but I'll give it a shot. Cross Badlands number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 7. Number 8. Number 8. Number 9. Jeez Louise, man. Yeah, my whole impression of this stuff before was like it just looks like cheap shock value trash, but it can be at times, but it depends on the creative teams. So yeah, taking a chance on some of this stuff. Number 10. Number 11. Number 12. Okay, so these are some Charles Vest Book of Night. These are really minty. I have these already, but this is like another thing that I would vouch enough for that could go in like, you know, to sell. Curating a couple now of little short boxes of stuff that I think is good enough to maybe sell at pop-ups once in a while. Like a decent price, but enough to, you know, keep it interesting, feed the beast for all involved. And this came with number 3 also. Let's look in here a little bit, just to show off that Charles Vess art. Yeah, forgive my congestion, by the way, too. The weather has changed here. This is the type of weather where you're fighting off a cold. My dumb ass partied. Partied hard last weekend, so. Gotta be careful, man. Get that echinacea and the vitamin C. An issue of Dead Again. I always get Dead Man stuff. Yeah, I was missing this one, so we'll see. Ghost Rider number 21. I remember this was like an iconic cover from that era. I think it was pretty popular on Wizard's like hot books list too, so it should be pretty decent. We'll see though. Miracle Man Annual number 1. I just saw the names on this. You've got Grant Morrison, Joe Quesada, Peter Milligan, Mike Allred, and Laura Allred. So yeah, give it a shot. Some of the Erik Larsen run Spider-Mans that I was missing. This is number 339. Let's look randomly if Larsen was hitting his tropes in this. Namely, if there's a nice cheesecake shot of Mary Jane or Black Cat or something in it. He's good though, man. Breaking the Borders, yeah. We can't look through the whole thing though. Just assume it to be fact. I like the balance between like speed and rendering, because it's kind of like at comics at their best are limited by that monthly deadline, I guess. So they're very like lively, maybe, and loose, but that balance between being loose and tight. Really liked them back then. Spider-Man number 340. Oh yeah, filling in more of the Uncanny X-Men. Number 176, some JR. 177. Oops. 185. 191. 253. 254. 255. 258. This might be another copy, but if it is, it'll be easy to sell this like iconic Jim Lee quality here. 259 and 265. Likewise. Another $2 pin. There's Wally stuff, but deals in bulk for that kind of thing, right? Melody, Adults Only, True Story of a New Dancer. There's some crazy melodrama of like swinger couples in what, like the late 70s, early 80s. Is she like foreign or immigrant? But anyways, I think she's at least pretty French. I think this takes place in Quebec, Canada as well, though not in the big city. That's Melody number 4. Leather and Lace number 1. Just been coming across these pretty recently, or pretty frequently recently. So we'll be able to put a set of this together maybe? At least like a good chunk. Dominion Tank Police number 1. This is pretty wild. An issue of Pirate Corps from Evan Dorkin. And this is from 1989, I think. Pirate Corps Special number 1. This is, of course, before Milk and Cheese, I think, even. How many comics in 1989 had people with bad brains patches on their back? An issue of War Story. This is D-Day Dodgers. This is from the first run of War Story by Garth Ennis also. John Higgins from... What did he do again? A bunch of like DC stuff anyways. But yeah, this is a good issue. This is a good one, kind of a classic. Pretty wild. Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon's Heartland. More of the Nexus run being completed. This is number 28, number 30, number 46, number 47, 48, 49, 67, 68, maybe this is double. Nexus Alien Justice, number 2. This miniseries is complete for me now. Nexus Nightmare in Blue, number 3. And Nexus The Wages of Sin, number 1. These old Mirage Studios issues of TMNT, they wanted $5 each for them, and I did it, because these are excellent. And these are in really good shape. That's just how it is, man. I don't know if you're really going to find these in such good shape in like a dollar bin or anything, and I was like, yeah, I've wanted these in better shape than I have for a while. These are really excellent. The art, it's Brian Talbot, right? I love when Eastman and Talbot collab. Let's just show this off a little bit. Start with that little wraparound cover. It kind of starts in like a fantasy feudal Japan. Almost like the same kind of world where Ronin would start an era. This is a classic for me. This was formative for me in my youth. Still holds up, man. It's also cool that you see there's a different side of Michelangelo. Wait a darn minute. There's a couple that I'm missing right now that I didn't get to. Anyway, this stuff rules, man. Likewise with this issue of book 19 of the original Mirage Studios TMNT. There's a trilogy, The Return to New York, and this is one that I had in like pretty rough condition. But this is great also. The Return to New York trilogy is amazing. A little bit of Ronin influence there for sure. Does this have the Triceraton in it yet? Is this Eastman and Talbot again? Oh, I'll be right back. Oh yeah, I almost forgot this in a pile upstairs. This is another vendor, nice guy. And this he always has stuff that's like kind of newer that allows me to take a chance on that stuff because I don't want to take chances on newer stuff at like full retail. But anyways, Last Ronin. There's a variant cover. Is this Kevin Eastman variant? But yeah, I just want to like try to read it. Last Ronin in the last years. Heatseeker, a Gun Honey series. Gun Honey seems funny, entertaining maybe. An Alien variant cover. I do like the Alien franchise, so I'll see how well Marvel's treating it. I've read a couple that were like meh, serviceable, but nothing to write home about. Not sure if this is. We'll see how this is too. It'll be easy to get value from it though if it's not something worth keeping. This is this Frank Cho? I don't know. I saw Tro and I was like, yeah, I'll see what that's all about. Red Light #1. And Pat Shand, I've seen he's written some of the stuff he wrote for Boundless was like pretty entertaining. So gotta get some cheesecakey stuff with like hot dames in it once in a while. This is Destiny New York #1. Nice cover. And lastly, I didn't break the bank or like go over budget, so this I was like kind of looking at this as Preacher issues 1 to 20, and they're all like unread because the guy was just collecting them from the store but not reading them at the time. I myself was I got like my cousin gave me like the first 2 trade paperbacks of Preacher to read, and then I was like on board and collecting it from about issue 13 or so. So I only have those, and I've always like just wanted to complete them. Um, and this is like a good deal. I asked him, it was like at the end of the show when he was packing up, he still hadn't sold it. So I said, "Hey dude, how low would you go on that?" And I was expecting like I was ready to offer him like $90, but he said 75, and I said done, sold. So yeah, I've got this, got the first, appearance of Preacher and Jody and Cassidy and all of them Santa Killers, um, Arseface and all that jazz. So I think even like issue #1 or all that kind of stuff, or like even Hair Star is $50. So this is a good value. And for me though, part of it is the letters column. This actually has like the best letters column out of any publication I've ever seen, man. So good, so entertaining, so fun. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good value. I usually don't like spend very much money on stuff, but something like this, it's like tattoos or sending away or for an album or something. If I haven't been able to find it in like 10 or 20 years, and I do finally see it at like a pretty decent offering, yeah, man. Yep. So yeah, thanks for watching. There'll be more to come, and like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And happy hunting out there for yourselves. Have a good weekend. Cheers.